really privileged today to have Kathy Shimberg lead us in a participatory discussion. It's not going to be a lecture, it's going to be participatory with your memories and your stories and a little bit about the history of dance and music, and especially in this area, and how it's changed over time, and some of the great traditions of this music.
I'm glad to host this, but I'm not going to lecture. And we have Bob Moss, who brought his instruments and is a fiddler and guitar player and longtime square dance caller, and I hope he'll call some dances perhaps. And Dane Scudder, who grew up in Fleischman's, knew Grant a little bit. Dane is also a fiddler and a banjo player and does his own research and restores banjos, makes new necks for them. And he grew up with Hilton Kelly, who is another old-time fiddler and caller. I'm sure both of them will be able to add to the conversation.
I'm Neil Northrup. I moved here from Walton in 1942, and I personally knew Grant. He worked at S.J. Bailey and Son Nights one time, where I worked for 20 years. And I met Grant in Roxbury, New York one time, and I was the only one in the crowd that he knew. And we had quite a visit, and I knew he was a stone cutter, and I liked Grant. He was a very good musician. He knew lots of songs, especially the one, Bessie the Heifer.
So maybe we should hear a little bit of Grant himself playing. I'll tell you afterwards.
I was brought up in Bagley Brook, up in a farm up there. House dances were very common at that time, and I'm talking back in the mid-30s. And the first dance that I called to, I didn't call all of it, but it was in a house dance up there. I was 10 years old. They had musicians there, but they didn't have a caller. So I proceeded to call for that and got interested, and so I got to calling more. Later years, I joined in and started playing the guitar some, and then I switched over, played fiddle some, and then I played with a small group and called, but calling is a knack. It's a sort of a profession. We go around to a lot of dances today, here and all over the state.
Well, I wondered if you could explain the difference between the Eastern and Western.
Well, the Westerns, they have to learn it out of a book. It's a set thing, the Western style music. I have no idea how to call it. I know they take lessons in order to call it, and the people that dance take lessons. And so that style is the Western style, but the old style that we learned is still around, and some do it. Down south, we found that, there was places down there where we'd get in, and one especially that we got to go to up in the Ocala Forest, which was a set people. That was a permanent place up there, and we got to go up there. And those northern people up in the Catskills, they loved this old mountain music and square dancing the way we done it. That was fun to get up there.
But one thing in the Western, they don't want anybody standing still like you do in Eastern, where the first two ladies cross over, they want everybody moving.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. But I noticed they don't look each other in the eye. And in Eastern style, it's more social. People look each other in the eye and smile at each other. My understanding is that the Eastern traditional style, which people learned in their families, moved west, and then there was the guy in Colorado. He was a big caller out there. And from there, it moved to California, and Western style was started as club dancing in California in the 50s. And then it was commercialized and spread around commercially, but not the way the Eastern style was learned through families. So did that make clear the difference between Eastern and Western style?
There's a lot of difference, I'll tell you.
There is a lot of difference, yes. And I think of the Western style as being, they're continually coming up with more complicated dances, and the complication seems to be part of the objective of it. You know, you have to really remember everything.
G or C, I don't.